10 years in the big leagues, he could go and get it. He could run. He had a very good major league career, one that he's decided to call a wrap as of about 2 weeks ago, as he just told us in commercial. So we should say good morning to Peter Bourjos for everybody's benefit. Hey, Peter, good morning to you. Thanks for the visit today.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
So we have you on because not only have you decided to put a wrap on your playing career, but you're beginning a new one in your decision to join the ranks of scouts, and you're going to follow in your dad's footsteps. Congratulations on this, and tell us about the decision.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I think it's a good opportunity for my family and myself. I grew up in the game, obviously going to games with my dad and watching him scout and sitting in the scout section and listening to these guys do their job. So it was always something that I wanted to do. I wanted to stay in when I was done playing, and, you know, I went into the off season, you know, hoping to continue to play and see if there's any interest, and it just wasn't there. And it just kind of all came together at the right time, and it's just a good timing for myself and my family.
Hey, you know, Peter, we had Brett Boone on last week. He was in here, and he replaced me in Seattle, and I moved on to Baltimore. And as soon as he hit a home run in Boston, I went, uh-oh, I'm out of here. Well, you had a kid named Mike Trout come up. So when did you start saying, uh-oh, I might be in trouble here in Anaheim?
Pretty soon. I think you could see right away that he was something special, and it was just the way he carried himself and then the way he took his at-bats. Like, I know his first year up, he was up and down, and he struggled a little bit, but the way he took his at-bats as a 19-year-old, it was unbelievable. He looked like a 30-year-old up there working the count, taking pitches, and I was like, I'm in trouble here. And then on top of it, he was beating balls out to the shortstop. He was running like a 3.9 down the line. So pretty soon I was like, I might be somewhere else pretty quickly.
Hey, talk to me real quick before we dive back in on your career about your dad. Your dad scouted for how many years with who, and how did he get started, and your impact that he obviously had on you, and when did you start going to games with him? Yeah,
so he started in the early 80s. He got to the big leagues with the Giants for a couple months, and then when he got done playing, he went right into scouting. And he was an amateur scout for a long time with Toronto, and then moved over to the pro side. And he kind of went to the pro side right like the late 90s about, and that was kind of when I was in middle school, going into high school. So it was a cool experience for me. I got to go to a lot of big league games with him over the summer, travel with him, and really just sit there and listen to him talk about baseball, and then listen to all the scouts talk about baseball. So it was just really cool for me to get a different perspective of the game.
You are a dead ringer of your dad.
Yeah,
man.
that nut did not fall too far off the tree. Hey, could your dad run like you?
He said he could. I don't know. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Maybe right now not so much, but as a younger guy, same wheels, huh? I love that.
Yeah, he said he could run. He always claims he was the better hitter of the two, so I can't argue that.
I want to ask you, Peter, about specifically scouting for the Rockies. Is there anything in their kind of code book that is a different rub on the craft than, say, if you were scouting for a team that didn't play at altitude?
Yeah, there's got to be. Obviously, we haven't gotten too far into it. I took the job about a week ago, and I think there's going to be a big learning curve in the next 6 weeks during spring training. But there has to be. Obviously, you know, you're playing at altitude, and you got 81 games up there, and just from like a recovery standpoint, it's challenging. And I know going in there, like, the ball flies, you got to play deeper as an outfielder, and I don't think breaking balls seem to break as much up there. So obviously there's going to be some kind of learning curve, and there's got to be an adjustment made on the scouting side.
So, Peter, we got you down as an advanced scout, so you're going to be advancing for the team, or you're still going to do some amateur scouting as well?
I'll be one or two advanced scouts, so it'll be a good transition to where I get to watch big league games. It's what I've been doing. I've been on the bench for the last 5-6 years, most of my career. So it's kind of something I've already been doing. I sit there watching games. I've always tried to think along with the manager, which kind of helped me go through the process of a game to understand where I might be used. So it's kind of something that I've almost already been doing. So obviously there's a big learning curve still. I have a lot to learn, and I'm looking forward to that.
So they always say about, about this kind of craft that it takes one to know one. So I am guessing that you could specialize in the speed and defense guy. Are you going to be able to smell your own, you think, when you're out there as a scout?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I always paid attention to those guys from the bench and watching the pitchers' moves and when they picked, how often they picked, the counts they picked in. And then I always would watch the guy take his lead and see if he was getting antsy. His lead was a little bit bigger and see if he would give it away that way. And so, hopefully I'm able to do that. I've seen a lot of good base stealers at the big league level do their thing. So, hopefully I can pick something up.
I'm really intrigued with you being with Colorado as well, because you're with Anaheim and you played with a number of teams, and how the game has changed. Even in your 10 years in the big leagues, the numbers have really become a big part of it. And my oldest brother, Donnie's scouted for a long time, and the biggest thing is all the paperwork.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious with the sabermetric team you're with the Rockies, and how important not only your eye test of seeing guys, but being able to pass on that information. So what has been your training for all that?
You know what? So not a whole lot yet. I think we haven't gotten too far into it. And hopefully, I think in this next week, once everybody gets down here in Arizona, I live about 5 minutes from the complex. I think I'm gonna dive into that, and that's something that I want to understand. I want to understand the analytics part of the game, and then how to blend that with what you're visually seeing. And I think if you're able to do that and meet somewhere in the middle, you're going to have a successful career in whatever you do in this game. And that's what the good organizations seem to be doing, is they're somewhere in the middle. They're blending the analytics with what they're seeing with old school scouting, and they're having good success with that. So whatever that may be, I'm really intrigued for the next 6 weeks of what I can learn and pick up, and then obviously continue that through the season.
Yeah, man. Hey, good luck with this. We think you'll be great, and I know you'll enjoy the Rockies, because everybody that works there talks about the atmosphere, the kind of feel for the organization. So really cool that you spent some time with us today. We appreciate it, and good luck in your new walk of life, Peter. Way to go.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, congrats, Peter. Great career,
Thanks.
man. 10 years,
I really
long time.
It. Thank you.
Rockies advanced scout, Peter Bourjos.